His name is...
It's John Bunday. It is Friday, August 29th, and yesterday, Thursday, August 28th, I finished RPG number 8, and that is Shining in the Darkness on the Mega Drive. So this was actually on the Mega Drive Mini 2. It is one of the games included on that, and I actually began this back during the Easter holidays. So for those who may remember, I did a video then of like I think top 10 most influential games, while also watching the sunrise. So if you remember that video, I was away for a week with the family in Yorkshire, and so I started that Shine in the Darkness then. I was still playing, like I still had an RPG on the go, like back here. So once we got back, I paused that game, and then when we went to the Isle of Wight for like the first week of the summer holidays, we then, I also took my minis again, and I carried on that game. And then since we got back from the holidays, I've been trying to play it whenever I can, and so like we're now at pretty much the end of the summer holidays, and I finally finished it. So let's start again. For those who don't know, Shine in the Darkness is the first game that was released in the Shining series. So Shining Force 1 and 2 on the Mega Drive, Shining Force 3 on the Saturn, and Shining the Holy Ark, I think, on the Saturn. But I've been told that Shine in the Darkness is actually set later than the Shining Force games. So, but I still wanted to play this one first because it was released first. So it is actually a dungeon delver rather than a tactical RPG. So there are only 3 locations, or you have a map, there's only 3 locations. The castle, which is only the throne room where you have all the characters like give you cutscenes and things. The town, where there are shops that you could buy new equipment and items, along with a tavern to heal, a shrine to save and get resurrect, and also remove like curses and things like that. And then the labyrinth proper. There are 4 trials you have to overcome in the basement of the... When I say basement, it's not like you go down one level and there's the 4 trials. No, you have to find the entrance to each individual trial on the first floor of the ground floor of the labyrinth. And then just beating one trial doesn't allow you to get access to the next one. Well, except for maybe between 1 and 2. But from like 3 and 4, you can only get to them if you find the items that allow you to open the way to them. So it's not just clearing the trial, which is getting to a specific point. It is also finding an item like the Orb of Truth, for example, that will actually allow you to find it. This game is, if you ever play the first Phantasy Star in the Master System, where that is like a first-person dungeon crawler, this is like that. There is no map in the game at all. I don't know if future ports did anything about it, but this one does not. So you either need to have a pen and paper ready, or have a map from the internet ready, and you will need it, believe me, because these dungeons like are not small, they are big. So yeah, it is. Yeah, the game was definitely a slog. Like, you have to do a lot of grinding, sometimes not just necessarily for experience, but for gold to buy better equipment, so you can actually get further. So usually it's the case of finding your way through the dungeon and then having to redo it, so that because usually there'll be a boss at the end of each trial or at the end of each floor before you continue. And normally you would probably like exhausted all of your MP for healing, because my strategy was I would only attack and save magic for healing or getting rid of poison and things like that. So by the time usually I got to the boss, I was like, oh, I didn't have much. You do have a spell which will warp you back to town, but that requires 9 MP, so you always have to have that spare, and make sure that the only one person can use it doesn't die. There are items that can do the same thing as well. Transport you back, I mean. So in the Mega Drive original, you could only save at the shrine in town, I think I've been told or I read that future ports will allow you to save anywhere. So having the Mega Drive Mini 2 was very handy because those dungeons, like I said, go on for a while. And, you know, like you need to be able to save, especially where there are enemies that will one hit kill you. I don't mean just because you're under leveled, I mean like we'll have a spell called Desolve that will literally just kill you. And if you get paralyzed, then, you know, like the one person who has the spell to remove the paralysis, if he's paralyzed, he can't cast magic anymore. So the game can be very unfair at times, and that means that if you can't save partway through the dungeon, you've lost that entire run, and we could be talking about an hour's worth of time, and I'm not joking. So you're going to be able to save. I personally, if I play this game, like I did enjoy myself. Like I kept going back for more. I wouldn't give it up. Like I was looking forward to playing more. Like I thinking, oh, what strategy could I do for this boss, for example. But I don't know if I could recommend it. Like you have to be able to save. I would definitely not recommend the original Mega Drive cartridge unless you have all the time in the world to play it. I mean, to be fair, the game did take me a good chunk of time, so you will get your money's worth from it, that's for sure. But yeah, like if you get near the end of the dungeon and then you die, you've lost all that experience and you've lost all the money you've accumulated or any items or that you found from chests or from monster drops. So, but yeah. Shining in the Darkness. Another one completed. Till next time, take care.